Assume silence is consent. So maps, anything that's interesting here, it's unordered. That's the first thing I underlined, right? And map type is equal to map, and then the key type, and then the element type. That's kind of how we make it. And then the key type is equal to a type, right? Just any kind of type. So string, int. So that's, again, how we read that Bacchus now or form, BNF or whatever. And the key type must not be a function, map, or a slice, right? So it has to be something that works with comparison, equality comparison. And for a map, it can be, you can find the length of a map, and you could use assignments. So elements may be added during execution using assignments and retrieved with index expressions. And you can remove them with delete, right? So I don't have an example of delete up here. And maps grow to accommodate. You could create a map with make. And you could offer in a capacity hint if you'd like, right? Maybe that'd help your computer be a little bit more efficient, your program be a little bit more efficient. Like, I think I'm going to store this many records here. So basic info about maps, key value, maps keys to values called dictionaries in some languages. It's built into the language, not an additional library you must import, so they're first-class citizens. Map keys need to be unique. The type used for a key needs to have the quality operator defined for it. The type must allow equals comparisons. Can't use these types as keys. Maps are reference types. They behave like pointers. What's that mean? Maps are reference types. They behave like pointers. What's that mean? So when you pass a map around, what's getting passed? It's always in Go. This is a new way to look at it. It's always by value in Go. But what is the value being passed when it's a reference type?
The address of the memory.
It's the memory address, right? So that's light. That's really cheap to pass around, right? It's the memory address. But what's that also mean?
When you actually print it, it's going to print the contents, not the...
Okay, so when you print it, it prints the contents. But if you pass it into a function or something, you are affecting the data. I have 87% certainty on that. But that's what it means. So, like, have it behave like a pointer, right? Passing in the address, and so now I am operating. No matter where I pass it, we have access to the data at that address. And so I change the data there. It changes for everything. It's not a copy, right? Not passing a copy in. So, like, when I pass in x equals 5 into a function, right? And then inside the function, I say x plus 7. So x should be 12 now, but I come outside the function back to main, I don't return anything or reassign a main, then x is still 5, right? Because I passed a copy, right? So it wasn't a reference type. It was a primitive. When you pass a map variable to a function, any changes to that map, so here we go, variable in the function, change that original map variable outside the function. Maps are not thread safe. Best avoid using maps concurrently. So I think maybe maps are not thread safe because of that, right? It's a reference type. Maybe, I don't know. Shorthand for creating a map right here. We saw that already. And adding an empty entry to a map. So just adding it by key right here.
If you say print my greeting without putting the key in, you're going to get
the whole deal.
The whole deal, but it's also the same map in front of it. Is that right?
I don't know. Let's find out, man.
That's what I'm getting. I'm getting map.
Yeah. So I have maps, a whole bunch of sample code, and printing a map. And so here, printing length my greeting and printing greeting. And so let's go there. And change directory, golang training, and then 18, and then 03. And so the print line, am I in the right one? 03. Where's my length? There's my length, 8, and then here's the map.
See, the
right?
word map is in front of that map.
Yeah.
There's the word map first.
Yeah. Oh, can't quite get it all on one page.
I just wonder why I didn't just print the map without the word map.
Letting you know. I don't know. They should have hired us, huh? I'm sure there's a really good reason. I just assume that these people know way more about what, I mean, obviously they do. I don't even know how to create a program completely, much less a programming language. Like full accuracy, creating a program. Printing a map length, printing a map. So there's that. And updating an entry. So here I have a new entry, and I print it, and then I update it, right? Just give me the key and give me the new value, and then print it again. First time howdy, second time good day, so it updated it. Delete an entry, that's how you delete from a map. So delete the map and then the key. So got rid of that one.
Is that going to leave a 0, 1, 3?
0, 1, 3. So it's not like a index like in a slice. Check for existence, comma, okay, idiom. If val, comma, exists, returning two variables and assigning them. So that kind of threw me when I was learning this language. Like if val exists, my greeting 2 semicolon exists. What's going on there, right? So this is just right here. I could run some sort of a statement, and that statement will only have the scope of this if block. So it's just containing scope of variables. And so often you'll see some sort of check here. They'll return like some sort of okay or something like, that's why it's called the comma okay idiom. And so if val exists, my greeting 2, this will give me the value at my greeting 2, and it'll say, hey, true. And so is this true? So now it's just basically remove this line, kind of pretend that's not there, and it's just if exists, right? And if true, then run this. Otherwise, run that. And so, the val would just be the 0 value right there, I think, if it didn't exist. So here's the comma okay idiom, and it's false. And you can see the val is just nothing. So if val exists, my greeting 7, that doesn't exist. There's no 7, so that's false. So it comes down here, runs that. That value doesn't exist. Value is empty strings, and exists false. That's kind of cool. Arrange loop, looping over a map. Key value. And making a map, you could use make to make a map as opposed to doing it this way, right? Where that's kind of I've heard that called a literal, map literal, right? Where it's just instantly the values, where you're not declaring it and then assigning it. But here we declare it with make. We have it be made, and then we start adding things to it. So when we first do it, right, map has 0 elements in it. Here's the length of the map. And there's the map, and then we add breakfast and eggs, and then we have length of 1, and then that prints it out. Want to do this exercise? Time to code. Let's create a map create a program that creates a map using shorthand notation. Adds an entry to the map, changes an entry in the map, deletes an entry in the map, prints all the entries in the map using range, prints the length of the map, uses the comma okay idiom. Whoa, you guys are going to be busy for 15 minutes.